Now in this session we're going to talk about the product lifecycle management functionality that exists in the PEBBLESTONE solution. Now what I've done here is I've logged into our system as the product developer. You can see my menu system and it corresponds to PD, my user login down here. And we understand that the product developers, they don't spend a whole lot of time in your business system. When they're in here to work on product, put at their designs, see where we are in the whole process. And for that reason, we've developed the product designer screen to only show the product designers what they're truly interested in. So when I start on this screen, you'll notice it's fairly clean, just a few menu options, but I'm going to stop on our PLM overview here. Because if I'm responsible for an entire collection or multiple collections, I would like to see kind of overall where do we stand with the entire collection. So in this particular case, what I've done is set up an example where I've grouped things by season. This is our 2017 spring summer. And then I've subcategorized it into my collection. Here's my beach collection. And then I also want to see the breakdown by men's and women's or gender within the collection. These are all things that I can set up and very easily kind of read across here. Okay, I've got 12 items. I've got 2 that I'm still working. They're in the collection and I'm not in pre-sales. But as I can tell by my date here, August 20th, I'm really kind of expecting everything to be in the pre-sales state by now. In my example here, it's August 21st. So I could really pay attention to what's going on with these particular items. And of course, I can drill down into this, look these things up. But it gives me a sense of the entire collection because I may also be looking at this going, okay, well, once I get past these dates, I know I've got the 2017 fall winter. That's also out here. And I can even change my overall view. So here I've just pulled it up. Here's my 2017 spring summer collection. I can tell it I want to see the fall winter and click on OK. When I refresh my screen, you can see, oh, okay, in this particular example or this season, I really only have 1 item set up because it's still a little bit away for me. But once again, I can manage these things at a very quick glance initially at the top of my screen. Now, when I look down into the details or my PLM activity overview, these are all the tasks that have been assigned to me and are showing to me as what I need to complete, like my to-do list. So when I look at this particular line here, I'm supposed to register the bill of material. It says it's ready to start, it's active. The starting date is today's day, August 21st. But the nice thing about this too is, of course, I'm just looking at the tasks that are assigned to my particular user ID. But I can also open up, in this case, the PLM card. I can see the tasks that have been assigned to everybody. This is the entire product life cycle that we expect this new product to go through. My task here was to actually certify the BOM and get it registered. And as you can see directly from my PLM card that shows all my activity, I also have a link right here to my item information where I can take a look at, in this case, my production bill of material. Okay, yep, this is all the product that's gone into it. Yep, in fact, I have certified it. In fact, I did that already. Otherwise, it would show as under development or new. So I'm looking at this going, yep, so I'm comfortable with this. And close this out. And once again, in our system, what you're really expecting to do is, okay, well, I've finished this task, so I can go ahead and close that. It drops it off my active screen. Of course, I'm still on a PLM line that's in the future, but it's for the same product. If I go back to the PLM card, you can see that this register BOM is now closed. And now it's set up the next task, which is to start the whole purchasing. And that's responsible by the coordinator. So I'm done with this for my part right now. I can move on to something else. When we start talking about setting up these PLMs to begin with, if I come in here and go to an item, let's say I'm creating a new item. Here's my plain flip-flop. It's going to be part of my beach collection. When I actually look at the PLM, because PLMs are set up by individual item. That way we can track and make sure nothing falls through the crack. But this item might go through the same PLM or the same life cycle steps as many other products that I do. So rather than setting up the PLM from scratch every time, I can choose to apply a template and say I want to use the template that's related to me creating a new style. It drops in all the steps that have to be done related to creating this, create the specifications, get the pre-production sample approved, purchase order the supplier. It's got it assigned to the persons responsible. And I can put in a planned start date. Let's say I am going to start today's date. I'll plan forward, and based on my duration of when these steps usually take, it fills in all the dates for me. I can release that when I'm done. And now this item actually has a PLM associated with it too. But it took me very little time to set it up because a lot of my products go through the same steps, so I just set it up as a template. One of the other nice things about what's happening with these activities is we can choose to receive certain notifications. So let's say I'm going to be out of town when this swatch needs to be received and approved. I may need to reassign that to the coordinator. So once again, very quickly from my PLM screen here, I can click on reassign, and it gives me a list of people that I could potentially reassign this to. But what we also want to pay attention to is, well, how are these people going to be notified if certain things happen? Like in this case, I am choosing to reassign an activity to somebody else that maybe they weren't expecting. So all these different activities, we can send internal notifications. That's what this notification means. I can choose not to do anything because we don't want to overload people with notifications. If they're in the system all the time, there's no reason to see that. But I could either send them an email, an internal notification, which is just a notification that happens within our system, or I can do both. So if I set this up the way I want to, then when I do certain activities, other people will be notified, hey, go pay attention, go look in the system. And I can even do things like in this case, I've put in supplier. These are people that have some responsibilities, the manufacturer. So they're not really in our system. But the nice thing about that is I can set this up as an email notification, just put their email address in there, and when I do certain activities, like I activated the fact that I'm sending them a purchase order, they would get an email notification letting them know that this activity has started and they should be expecting my purchase order shortly. So we can do notifications that even happen outside of our system. But all of those things come together to make it seamless for the production design people to put in their specs, manage the whole product from beginning to end, and really give visibility throughout the entire system of where a particular product stands. Well, thanks again for joining us on this video. We look forward to talking to you in one of our other videos.